Mick Foley is this week's featured superstar on the Wrestling Showcase. Stay tuned for some high-end collectibles and ring-worn gear, just like this barbed wire 2x4 from the Royal Rumble 2000 versus Triple H. Hey everyone, appreciate the support on Instagram. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Everything helps, and enjoy some of the old episodes. All right, everybody, the first piece we're going to start off with is a ring-used Commissioner Foley flannel vest that you can see hanging behind me. That was a significant piece used as commissioner, along with his ring-used Commissioner Foley gavel when he would make rulings final in the WWE. More significantly, though, with this piece, Mick Foley used this in an iconic moment with The Rock when he stood up to The Rock in the center of the ring and said, "It doesn't matter," and then proceeded to do a victory lap.
Commissioner's gavel. Oh, man. You can sit at home and make rulings. I want dinner now, and that's final. It's probably not going to get you anywhere. But it is engraved. We can see the engraving. Commissioner Mick Foley. I would love to be able to tell you I used this as a commissioner. It was given to me during that time period. I believe I used it, but I can't be certain.
Okay.
So it is more like a cool keepsake, but it was in the Foley Christmas room for over 10 years on a shelf. So
now, for some more iconic pieces, we're going to turn to another collector, Joe, and look at his collection.
Hey guys, it's Joe, and here are some pieces from the hardcore legend, Mick Foley.
Here we have Mick Foley vs. Edge, WrestleMania 22 in 2006. We have the Wanted t-shirt, the sweatpants, and the cardio shoes worn by Mick at his historic hardcore match with Edge. This match was voted by WWE fans as Match of the Year in 2006. As you could see, the Wanted t-shirt still has faint traces of blood spilt from Mick's 5-stitch gash. The cardio shoes have plenty of history to them, having been worn in dozens and dozens of 1999 Mankind encounters. I remember seeing them in Survivor Series 1999, Rock and Sock Connection, and a Boiler Room match against Triple H on SmackDown. Back in 1999, for reasons unknown, these shoes were signed by Kurt Angle, Al Snow, Pat Patterson, Gerald Briscoe, and Dr. Tom Pritchard. And as we shift a little bit to focus on ECW, these cardio boots were also worn at ECW's One Night Stand in 2006. And here we have an early Cactus Jack piece, worn in 1995 by Mick Foley. This was worn in ECW during a Pulp Fiction, the Hardcore Parent promo, where Cactus Jack was joking around about being a hardcore wrestler and a hardcore parent at the same time, so he combined the two. And these are Mick's black ring-worn cardio boots worn 2003 to 2005 during his feud against the Evolution and Randy Orton. He also wore these when The Rock returns to save him from Evolution. And you could also see these boots featured on Mick's 2022 Panini Prism card. And lastly, we have a Mick Foley Cactus Jack ring-worn flannel. And this flannel is matched to an episode of Monday Night Raw in 2003 during the Evolution and Mick Foley segment after Bad Blood.
Start off with some of the pieces I have behind me. So the first one is going to be, and I'm just checking my notes here, this is from around 2017 when Mick Foley was Raw General Manager alongside Stephanie McMahon. This was a custom suit he had made. Very nice detail on the inside. It was made by David Allen, which he has talked about on other interviews about why he got that. When he dropped a lot of weight, he wanted to feel good, look good. So he got himself a custom suit. I have the pants down here kind of buried under some other things I'll show in a minute. The next thing here is going to be his referee shirt worn during the 2015 Hell in a Cell. Very unique piece that I have every piece from, including the pants, the undershirt. Something I thought was pretty cool that I wanted to show was the knee pad, or the knee brace he had while he was reffing the match. This is also when he got pepper sprayed during the match, which was pretty cool. It kind of still smells of the pepper spray. The next thing I'm going to show is actually one of my coolest pieces. It is the mandible claw, the second one that he used. The first one Jim Ross has, the second one I have. The way Mankind knew this was the second one is he had cut the strap between, because it limited his mobility with the claw when it was all one piece. So this is the second version of the mandible claw. To go along with that, This is the boot strap that he wore when he debuted in 1996. This was wrapped around his boots in an X-like shape. He had auctioned this off years ago, and then this one was signed to Dave from Mick Foley with 1996 written on it. The next piece, which you've seen on other episodes, is the traveling urn from Bill Moody, Paul Bearer, Percy Pringle, however you wanted to refer to him as. This was the urn after the betrayal at SummerSlam when Undertaker got turned on by Paul Bearer. This was the urn that was adopted that he used to use with Mankind when he traveled. So this was the traveling urn of Paul Bearer that's just tied to the Mankind era. Another piece that I have is this. It says Cactus Jack on it, but the cool thing about it, and it's the very rare piece, was this was worn during WCCW when he went by Cactus Jack Manson, and it's also autographed Cactus Jack Manson, which, if you talk to Mick, he doesn't like to do and doesn't do very often, but because these pieces directly related to that era, he signed both of them Cactus Jack Manson. And these are from the WCCW days when he was first starting off his career.
Auction pieces, because you don't normally sign Manson. That's a very rare thing. So guys, this is why you buy these auction pieces.
To go along with that, and I don't know much about this era, I had gotten this Druid outfit from the Taskmaster Kevin Sullivan. It's a very basic kind of Halloween costume like Druid outfit, but this one particular was ring worn by Mick Foley with the Taskmaster when he came out for an appearance and he was trying to stay hidden as his identity, and that's when him and the Taskmaster started tag teaming together. Like I said, I can't find much on this. I don't know much about it. I didn't watch wrestling during that era, but when the item became for sale from Mick and from Kevin Sullivan, I just had to grab it just to kind of tie the whole generation of Mick Foley together. Another piece I have, which is kind of not a big piece, but it's a cool piece to me, is I was on WWE Most Wanted Treasures episode 1 with Mick Foley, where we took a tour of the WWE warehouse, and he sat in this very living room, talked to my kids, and we had a good time together. This was the flannel that he wore on that show, and part of my exchange with Mick is I gave him in the WWE a Cactus Jack flannel that he wore in a lot of promo pieces and on TV. And I told Ben Brown when we were making the deal, I'm like, if I'm getting rid of a piece of flannel, I'd like one back. So they, part of the deal we made was to get this flannel from Mick.
So that wasn't even a good kendo. I just killed your gimmick now. Ready? You ready for this? There we go. I'm going to do it nice and flat. There you go.
I could see the mark.
Now you're going to go home with a little bruise.
The 2000 Royal Rumble, Triple H versus Mick Foley, Mankind, or in that match, Cactus Jack. This is the barbed wire 2x4, the second one in the match that came from behind the referees or the announcers table. And you can see on a close-up, Triple H did not want to get poked by the barbed wire, so they had the WWE props department bend every single one inward so you couldn't get hit. So even though this is real barbed wire, I could sit here and hit it. Nothing's going to happen. Won't cut me, won't hurt me, but it does make a cool effect and makes a cool sound on TV. Part of this deal, when I sold my flannel to the WWE, was they gave me, and I don't remember if they showed this one on TV, this might have been an off-camera trade, but they gave me another referee shirt worn during John Cena and Kurt Angle with Mick Foley as a special guest referee. So this was the referee shirt he wore for that specific match, and it came directly from the WWE warehouse.
I'm not uncool, Daddy, because this cat is the hippest cat in all the land, and I'm pretty sure I think you know who I think you think this is. That's right, Daddy. Dude love the hippest cat in the land.
So if you didn't guess it by the video, yes, I bought the sunglasses just to own something from Dude Love himself. And one of the final pieces for my personal collection is going to be Mick Foley's Raw 15th anniversary shirt, tie, shoes, and what's not pictured are his sweatpants. All right, and for our last piece of ring gear, we're going to go to Justin James, who runs a group, J-Unit Gaming, which you can find on YouTube.
Hello everybody, my name is Justin James, and I am the proud owner of what very well might be the most odd, the most eccentric, and yet the most memorable, unmemorable piece of Mick Foley memorabilia that may have ever even existed. Before the infamous Hell in a Cell match between Undertaker and Mankind that has been replayed for decades, and I'm sure will be played decades farther, there was a brawl in June 1998 on that Monday Night Raw, right before that infamous match. And in that brawl, Foley wore something a little unconventional. Let's check it out. As you can see, we have a red buttoned-up shirt that says, "Ring Worn, Attack on Taker, Raw, June 1998, signed by Mick Foley."
Well, that finishes this week's episode. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps promote our site and also keeps us motivated, as well as other collectors, to keep sharing their items and showing them off with everybody. To finish the episode, we're going to throw it to 812 Wrestling Dude on TikTok, who has one of the best wrestling action figure collections of Mick Foley that I've seen.
What's up, everybody? This person wants to see Mick Foley. I don't actually have just Mick Foley, but we got a bunch of versions of him. We got Commissioner Foley, the Elite. We got Mankind and the Ultimate, pretty cool. Got the three faces of Foley, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, Mankind. Classic Superstar one, we got Cactus Jack 1 of 3000, pretty cool. There's a regular version. Mankind, Dude Love. Thanks for the comment.